This is Poetic Justice here, and today we're going to be talking about a feature in the game that a lot of people don't understand, which I believe people need to be educated more about, and that's why I decided to make this. In fact, it inspired the series that I'm going to be doing. So, here you see my road, and my structure down here. We're going to be going over today is the money, the currency, or the mint system. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you all what's inside our building. So up here is the actual mint. And the way the mint works is like this. The mint by default is public, and there's a reason why it's public by default. And you're going to find out. And so here we have a currency called rations. Whatever I want. And if I give this away, somebody can actually take control over this currency for this specific mint. But it seems like seems to be the game mechanics. So I can remove this, move it somewhere else, and the currency called mint still exists. I'll go ahead and make myself some mint. As you can see, there's 10 rations, which are the currency, of course, that are created from a single gold bar. And a message appeared on everyone's screen saying how many I've created. And this is important because in a currency system, the way it works is that everybody has infinite credit with themselves. Not everybody needs everything from each other. A farmer doesn't need to worry about food. And if they make a house, maybe they don't need brick. But a person who makes brick, makes a concrete, whatever, only one person needs them, like a hunter. A butcher needs the hunter, but the hunter doesn't really... In a hunter, normally nobody actually cares or needs you, etc. Or, that's where currency comes in. Because you sell to the same form of currency. If you come to the shop, credit, poetic justice. The other one is rations. If created, everybody normally accepts it because the money from that form of currency, or it's distributed. That's why people would prefer mint over credit. If not, then everybody would just have to switch. And that guy would be able to get everything for free in the game from anybody who sells anything on the store. And that's very exploitable. It's a little more secure. The only issue is that somebody creates the mint. Somebody owns that mint, you see. Create the mint, or any of the currency items that are required to make a currency system. You need an anvil, and to get an anvil you need a kiln, and to get a kiln you need a masonry. You need the crafting table you start with. That's fairly easy, except with the anvil, you'll also need lumber. You need lumber and bricks, and you can make the bricks at the kiln, but the lumber you have to get from somebody who has a sawmill. Of course, to make a sawmill, you make the sawmill at the anvil as well. This takes a lot of people who are specialized normally, or it takes one person who's just very dedicated to make the mint for the server. Saves all their skill points, and everybody starts making an economy together. Normally somebody wants to rush to make a mint, because some people think that controlling the mint will give them control over everybody. This isn't actually the case, but it normally is whenever people start getting banned from servers by the host, because they're forced by the host of the server most of the time to accept the mint or get banned. And what this is called is, I guess, circle jerkery or something, where be 4 people who are in a server and they'll work together against the rest of the server to create a mint and regulate it. And here's how they regulate it and their excuses for why they do so. In this shop, you'll see that I have gold bars for sale, or should I say I'm buying gold bars for one ration, which is a very horrible deal. And the reason why it's a bad deal is because bar makes 10 rations. So that means that the person who gets the gold bar gets 10 rations. So if somebody sells gold, one single little coin, then they're gonna, who's getting the gold bar, or the gold ingot, gets 90% of the money that's in circulation, as long as the gold ingot goes through them. And what happens most of the time on servers is that somebody will do that. They'll set up a shop, and they'll say, we'll buy your ingots. And for each ingot, we'll give you 1 coin. And then if somebody asks why, they'll say, well, because then we have the ability to control inflation. We can make money. Well, I hate to break it to you, but if everybody could make money, that would actually be a great deal for the economy. And the reason why is because work to get gold, and if not, money. But in this scenario, somebody's working to make gold ingots, and 90% of their work is getting given away for free to the guy who owns the mint. And the guy who owns the mint uses his mint 10% of their own work in commodities. So of course you might argue, well, inflation. If somebody decides to, and here's the argument, hoard the money. Somebody just holds all the coins in reserve that are used to pump back into the economy to keep the economy going so that nobody can hoard the money. And that person will be observed closely and regulated so that they can't do that anymore. And that's almost the truth. Because the game developer added another system in the game that makes that unnecessary. This entire system here that I just said is unnecessary because of this. This vault is called the Treasury, and it's made at the same place, the Anvil. And it has a sales tax, a crafting tax fee, etc. taxes. And it requires a world leader. When there's a world leader, the world leader can set the tax rates. And by setting tax rates, that will always ensure that there's going to be money circulating in the economy. That means that this system here is completely unnecessary. Especially because you can make a treasury not too far after you make a mint, and it doesn't cost too much more. And that being said, if somebody actually ends up, and this happens, everybody will trust the guy on the server with the mint. They'll sell him gold, and he'll give them 1 single coin back. And then the next thing you know, adding a second story to his house, and nobody else can afford their own stock, basically, because everything's for sale. Everybody needs everything using the same currency, but the only person who has all the currency isn't giving it away. They kept 90% for themselves, and they inflate the economy. People do tactics like what's called the pump and dump. And the pump and dump's fairly simple. Imagine if I buying a bunch of logs or of wood or whatever, because I'm rich. Somebody decides, you know what, I got a lot of money. So I'm gonna sell Hugh Logs. Actually, let's just say I'm gonna sell Hugh Logs for 5. And of course, then, or just 1, we'll start with 1 to make it simple, okay? So anybody can buy my Hugh Logs for 1 gold. And what will end up happening is that if the rich guy comes, he can buy all my logs out to the guy who happens to own the mint that everybody is using. So, and so the way I can counter him by using the price on my logs, what will end up happening is that rich guy will then open his own shop where he's selling the same logs that he bought from me that were cheaper. And he'll resell them fit at a slightly lower price. And he controls the money. So guess what happens? Everybody loses, and this person just gets all my stock, and they get to regulate me in every single way. Economically, I'm being controlled there. There's nothing I can do about that. I make my own mint. The only problem is, by the time everybody's made aware of what's going to happen by anybody in a server, and this happens all the time, I've been on 3 separate servers where this has happened, what's going to happen is that goes around saying, hey, I know what this guy's doing, I've seen him before doing this, or I've seen somebody like him doing this. That person always seems to just get banned outright by the host because everybody will give them negative reputation. And the host will say, well, nobody likes you, get out of here. And nobody likes them because, well, is to believe that somebody's going to take advantage of them like that. And of course, that's really stupid. Especially if somebody's acting really nice. Like, I could pretend I'm nice. Does that mean you're going to give me everything I want? As if so, hell, I'll be nice all the time, And that's not the case. So, the best, and this is, of course, lesson from this, is that this is the best system right here, is just to keep the doors open and let everybody use your mint that you made. Work that they work for, and that keeps the economy flowing, because believe it or not, it benefits you when they can work. If they can work, that means that something you can buy. If not, you can't buy anything. So it's stupid, really, that if you want to regulate people, that's cool, be mean, whatever. But you're not gonna have any wood. That you can buy to build your house. You're not gonna have concrete because nobody's gonna be building anything. Nobody's gonna be making anything. Everyone's gonna be holding, because nobody can get anything with their supply. Nobody has currency to buy anything. And everybody starts to switch to gold miners or people who can make mints. And everybody starts to do things that, funny enough, the same person normally, this is how it normally is, there's about 4 people or so, or 3, and that's all it needs to be, and they'll try to pass a law that will prevent other people from making mints, and they'll normally succeed, and that will keep everybody from making a mint, and they're the only ones with the mint, so they control everything. That's exactly how this mint problem comes to be, and that's how people use the mint. So basically, yeah, sure, inflation's gonna happen. In fact, it'll happen at first. The economy gets pumped toward currency. The only thing is, it's actually very difficult for people to system, no matter how much they hoard, because they still have to do the work. So as long as you're not giving people bad deals, or as long as you're not ripping people off, and people are actually falling for the ripoff, the economy would work fine. This way. but people are really stupid. Like, fine, it's not that simple. Um, People are still going to all the time. That's why we live in the world we live in, and that's why people are less educated, even though it benefits the people in charge if people were more educated, because then they could do a lot more for those people. So I think that's everything. Oh yes, one more thing. Let's say you get lucky and you're on a server where you make a mint, and somebody else already had a mint before you, but they, of course, decided that they wanted to add another few stories on their house and make carpeted stairs. And you decide you want to make a mint, and you don't get regulated. Normally, people have to make this as well, and this is a currency exchanger. Not really sure entirely how this is supposed to work, but I believe what you do is you put your currency in, and you make bids. So now you can bid credit for currency. That means if people had credit with other people who didn't switch to the currency, it makes it easier to transition to any other currency. This is extremely crucial. See, whenever somebody needs to make a new mint. And there should be more than one currency, as long as there's an exchanger, if you want to prevent somebody from abusing it. Because what will happen, and this is what happens, like, you'll end up having somebody just shut their doors to the mint, undo everything, no matter how long it was public, and then everybody's closed off. Or funnier is that people will get upset and they'll block the road to the mint. That way nobody can bring their wagons full of gold bars to go get minted. And this happens all the time because people are very selfish and greedy. And because of that, everybody goes to make a mint, or if they don't succeed, then they'll try to get control as much as they can by getting rid of the person who has the mint. And if that person is malicious, funny enough, and everybody else means well, the people who mean well will actually be the ones who, how do I put it, in negative reputation with everybody. Whereas the people who don't mean very well won't, and that's just because people are not very good judges, or else we wouldn't need professional lawyers and judges in this world. I think that almost covers everything. I hope that teaches anybody a thing or two about the currency system in the game, and thank you for watching.